We have some really important 49ers news and rumors to get to on today's show, but first I want to gauge where the fan base is at, and this is a great way to do so. If you think the Niners, as 4.5-point underdogs, can upset the Rams at SoFi Stadium on Sunday, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, and let's talk some Niners football right now. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior. I hope all of you are having a good Friday, gearing up for the weekend. Win and in-game for San Francisco on Sunday. We'll, of course, be doing a watch party for it right here on the channel. Speaking of that game against the Rams, the big storyline going into it, is Jimmy Garoppolo going to play? Kyle Shanahan was on KNBR radio this morning and gave us a new Jimmy Garoppolo injury update. Quote, I have an idea of how Jimmy feels going into a game. Jimmy, he's going to want to play in the game regardless, just like he did last week. But he's not just going to lie to me. You can tell when he's hoping something is going to feel right and when he truly believes it. Jimmy Garoppolo the other day was asked about that thumb injury and was straight up, said it's really, really painful. It effing hurts, Garoppolo said. I don't know how else to describe it. It feels like the web in your hand is tearing. That's probably the best way I can describe it, but it's all good. And over the last couple of days, Jimmy Garoppolo has been seen on the practice field in the shadows of Levi Stadium throwing the football. So that's a good sign for him, and he's been putting some power behind the football, according to some of the reporters on hand. And the 49ers social media team has not shied away from showing some of these Garoppolo clips of him throwing the pigskin on the practice field. And if you're wondering, what is the web on your hand? It's right here. That's kind of where the injury took place. So that affects Garoppolo's ability to grip the football and power through the football. And if he's not at 100%, I'd be really surprised to see him on that field. But right now, it's all about the deception. If you're the 49ers, you want to put it in the mind of the Los Angeles Rams that Garoppolo could play, that Trey Lance could play, and maybe both of these players could suit up as the starter for San Francisco on Sunday. And that all comes down to game planning purposes. If you're the Los Angeles Rams, you're trying to approach this game and prepare for this very good Niners offense that's been humming over the last couple of months. And you don't know if you have to prepare for a dual threat quarterback in Trey Lance or a guy who is more stable in the pocket in Jimmy Garoppolo, who obviously has much more experience, and the Rams are more familiar with the player of Garoppolo. And the Rams are getting ready for every type of scenario. Von Miller was asked, hey, who do you think you're going to go up against, Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance? Maybe even it's a combination of both, a hybrid approach for Kyle Shanahan's offense. Von Miller, the future Hall of Famer and trade acquisition at the NFL trade deadline, said, quote, either way it goes, even if Jimmy plays, I would expect to see some Trey Lance. He's just that versatile, that athletic. He is the future, so I expect to see both of those guys. Niner gang, your opportunity to be as much a part of the show as I am here as the host. Will Jimmy Garoppolo play on Sunday? Get into the comment section and let your predictions be known. Type P for play, type W for won't. Let me know what you're feeling on this in the comment section down below. We are also quickly approaching a monster milestone here on the 49ers Report as the largest 49ers news and rumors channel on YouTube. By the end of the weekend, it is my goal after the watch party, and hopefully we're breaking down a 49ers win and a preview going into the playoffs, that we are going to hit 50,000 subscribers. The half-century mark right here on the 49ers Report. Appreciate everybody for supporting the channel right now. 1,122 people away from that 50,000 mark. So if you want the best 49ers coverage on the entire internet that is informative, entertaining, consistent, and fast, and we like to have fun and involve you in our shows, hit that red subscribe button down below. Now, we can't talk about Jimmy Garoppolo at this juncture of the season without talking about Jimmy Garoppolo trade rumors. And get used to it and buckle up, as some people would say. Because going into the offseason, this is going to be one of the biggest storylines across the entire National Football League during the 2022 NFL offseason, because there are a bunch of quarterback-starved teams across the NFL who are going to be potentially vying for the services of Jimmy Garoppolo and possibly making a trade with San Francisco. Colin Colin Cowherd tapped in to what's going on in California, going on with some NFL organizations, saying this on the herd: I know nobody likes Garoppolo because he's the world's most handsomest man next to Denzel Washington, one of the GOAT actors, by the way. But Jimmy Garoppolo is 30-14 with a Super Bowl trip. We're all talking about these college prospects. Jimmy, yes, he's a little injury prone, but there's a lot of teams out there right now that need quarterbacks. 3 NFL executives had told me in the last month that none of these college quarterbacks are top 10 material. None of them. Not Malik Willis, not Kenny Pickett, not Matt Corral. None of these quarterbacks, according to those NFL executives that Cowherd has spoken with, are really high on some of these prospects. So you take a look at some of these quarterback-needy teams, and we have an updated list of some Jimmy Garoppolo trade destinations. Washington football team. I think Taylor Heineke is a glorified backup and maybe a spot starter. The New Orleans Saints, they're not going to move forward with Taysom Hill as their starter. They're going to run it back with Jameis Winston coming off the torn ACL. Doubtful. Baker Mayfield, not really happy with the way that this season went with the Cleveland Browns, and Browns fans and the organization not happy with how he played, although he was dealing with a plethora of injuries. 4 more teams are going to be in the market for a quarterback, in my opinion. Denver Broncos, Pittsburgh Steelers, Houston Texans, and from earlier this week, let's put the Carolina Panthers on that list as well. Cam Newton ain't it. Either is Sam Darnold, and all of these teams aren't positioned in the NFL draft to make a run at a quarterback because they're either slotted in the mid to late round, or maybe they're not confident that some of these rookie quarterbacks are going to be the answer, and they can't win as many games or give you that level of production that Jimmy Garoppolo can. The 49ers, folks, can get a second-round pick in exchange for Jimmy Garoppolo. I believe in him. He's won a lot of games. He's played at a high level. He's very good at the end of halves in the 2-minute drill as well as at the end of games. He helped lead the Niners to a Super Bowl run back in 2019, and other teams see what he's been able to do in a large sample size, and they are going to become infatuated with him because they are starved for a quarterback, and Garoppolo has won a lot of games. And for these organizations that haven't had that recipe for success, they want to bring somebody in there who can be a model face, he can be a leader, and not give you all of the distractions like a Baker Mayfield. Prediction time once more here on the 49ers Report on a beautiful Friday. Will Garoppolo get traded this offseason? That is my next question for you, and I want you to get into the comment section right now. Type T for trade, K for keep, sound off in the comment section. Now, if you want to bet on the 49ers as 4.5-point underdogs on Sunday at SoFi, you can do so thanks to our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head to chatsports.com/49bet and enter the promo code Niners125 for a 125% deposit bonus. You put in $100, automatically $125 back. The over-under set at 44.5 for this game, which is pretty low compared to some of the previous matchups between these two rival teams in the NFC West and the Rams. This line has stood firm all throughout the week. The odds makers are doubting San Francisco. If you're riding with the Niners, gas them as 4.5-point underdogs. More major 49ers news to get to on today's show. Several Niners, all in the defensive backfield, landed on the COVID-19 list this week. That includes Jimmie Ward, starting safety, really good slot corner in K'Wan Williams, Ambry Thomas, who's really been coming on the last couple of weeks, the rookie out of Michigan, Dontae Johnson, a good backup piece, and Deommodore Lenoir, the other rookie. All of these guys in the secondary on the COVID-19 list. Good news is they tested positive earlier this week, and according to John Lynch, there is a very, very good chance that all of them could be available to go up against a potent Rams passing attack led by Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and Odell Beckham Jr. John Lynch also doing his radio hit on KNBR saying this: the good news is everyone's feeling good and is asymptomatic. I believe we will get these defensive backs off the COVID-19 list. We're forecasting that we'll have some of those guys back, but we're preparing for every scenario, whether we have them or not. And of course, earlier on in the week, the 49ers did sign to the practice squad former first-round pick Darqueze Dennard, but Kyle Shanahan adding on to some of those reinforcements, saying that in addition to those players coming off the COVID-19 list, Emmanuel Moseley could come back off of IR. I can't understate how important this is. We know the Niners secondary is shorthanded, and it's one of the weaker units in the NFL. A big reason why the Niners defense has been statistically one of the best over the last several weeks is because that defensive line is getting pressure, which has taken some of the pressure off the back end. But the good news for the Niners, they're going to be getting one of their best secondary members back off of IR in Emmanuel Moseley, coming off that high right ankle sprain. Kyle Shanahan expanding on Moseley, saying this: today was the first time he got to do some full speed stuff. Look good out there. Him and Josh Norman, they're the only guys out there who don't have COVID that are normal starters. So everyone else isn't out there. So it's been good for Moseley to not have to split it with anybody. We'll see where these other guys are at on Saturday, when hopefully they're allowed to come back into the building and we get to find out about their conditioning and stuff and where they're at. Thank goodness, though, Moseley's availability this week is going to give us another option. And when you're facing OBJ, who has played very, very well since his debut against the Niners back in November, Cooper Kupp, the number one wide receiver in terms of the numbers this year in the NFL, and Matthew Stafford, who has been the highest rated quarterback in the fourth quarter among all quarterbacks in the NFL this year, that's really big news. If the Niners win, they are in the playoffs. If they lose, they need the Saints to lose to the Atlanta Falcons to get into the big dance as well. So big news all around from top to bottom on this roster for San Francisco going into this game on Sunday against the Los Angeles Rams, and really so much at stake. I am dying for a playoff berth for the Niners to get into the big dance, because if they get into the tournament, I do believe that they can cause some havoc, they can cause some damage against any of these teams in the NFC if they play their best football. So before we get out of here, just want to thank everybody for tuning in. We'll be doing a watch party, 49ers, Rams, monster game on Sunday. Make sure you subscribe. Join us. It's going to be a party, and hopefully come Sunday, I'm going to be saying this a lot. Touchdown, San Francisco! Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Sunday.